Today's intro will be performed by one of my students, Joshua.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another math video.
And today we will be talking about how to graph exponential functions, so similar to the problems that you see up on the screen here. Just a reminder, this is the normal version. If you'd like the speedrun version, where we go pretty quickly, I will link that in the description below. All right, your Ricasso Recap starts now. In 30 seconds or less, here's what you need to know before you start this lesson. Firstly, you should know how exponents work. Secondly, you should know how negative exponents work. Also, a good calculator could help you with both of these if you don't know how to do them by hand. And lastly, you should know how to graph points on the coordinate plane. If you do not know how to do these three things, I will link refresher videos in the description below. Please go watch those before you start this lesson. All right, new lesson starts now. Here we go. So they give us a function here, y equals 10 to the x, and they say complete the table and then graph it. So let's start with the first one, y equals 10 to the x. We're going to replace the x with the -1. So we have 10 to the -1. You'll remember that from negative exponents, this just means y equals 1 over 10 to the 1, which is just 1/10. All right, so this is 1/10. I suppose you could put it as a decimal, which would be 0.1, either or. All right, for the 0, let's do a different color here. For the 0, y equals 10 to the 0 power, which is just y equals 1. And we are going to finish this off here. We'll do y equals 10 to the 1 power, which is just 10. And the last one, the same color, y equals 10 squared, which is 100. Okay? And now you need to pick two of the points to put on the graph. And here, probably the easiest two would be 0, 1. So let's do 0, 1. 0, 1 is right in the middle here. And let's do the 1, 10. 1, 10. This one will not fit on the graph, so we can't use it. And this one is a fraction, kind of hard to figure out. Might be kind of hard to put it exactly. So let's use the other ones. And then it will autograph for you on this lesson. So it'll just sort of auto connect it. And here is our graph. And that's it. All right, here's our cool clock for today, which means that it is time for you to practice what you just learned. Go ahead and pause the video and try these two problems on your own. And when you're ready, you can unpause the video and we'll check your answers. Okay, now you've had time to work these problems, let's check your solutions. For the first problem, here is the table and the rough sketch of the graph. For the second problem, they don't give you a table, so you can just sort of make up whatever table you want. I will just say that 0 and 1 are probably going to be your best friends in this lesson. 0, 1, -1. Okay, those are probably the best x values to use. All right, for this problem, we have a fraction, okay? So now, let's do the -2. We do 1/3 to the -2 power. 1/3 to the -2 power means that you flip the fraction, so it becomes 3, and this becomes to the second power. Okay, so this equals 9. So there's our first number. And we can repeat for all the other values in the table. 1/3 to the -1 is just 3 to the 1, which is just 3. 1/3 to the 0 power is just 1. 1/3 to the 1 power is itself, so it's just 1/3. And then once again, choose maybe the two easiest numbers. Obviously, one of them is 0, 1. That one's super straightforward. And let's do -1, 3, which would be here. And then again, in IXL, it'll auto connect, but if you're drawing a graph, it can just be a rough sketch. All right, time to practice. Go ahead and pause the video and try these two on your own. When you're ready, unpause and we'll check your answers. Okay, now that you've had time to work these problems, let's check your solutions. For the first problem, here is the table and the graph. For the second problem, here is the table completed. Sorry about that. Here is the table completed and the graph. Even though it's a decimal, you've got two options here. One is you can work with that as a decimal and maybe plug it into a calculator. You could also remember that 0.1 is the same as 1/10, and then you could work with it as a fraction. I leave it up to you. All right, for this last one, you'll notice that now there is a number in the front, and I am missing a graph, so let me put that in. Okay, so when you do this, the only thing you have to remember is, okay, here we go. Y equals 3 parentheses 1/9, and let's plug in our -2. So order of operations says that you do exponents first, so this is 3 times 9 squared. So this is y equals 3 times 81, and so y equals 243. Okay? And then you complete the rest of the table. This should be 27. This, let's talk about the 0, because what happens here is you get y equals 3 times 1, y equals 3. And to the first power is going to be y equals this. So y equals 3 times 1/9, which is just y equals 3. Hold on one second, I've done something wrong. Ah, I see it. Okay. Right here, 3 times 1/9 is not 3, it is 1/3. So let's fix it in our table. All right. So now, which one to graph? Let's do the 0, 3. That one's an easy one. And then, well, I don't think I have a big enough graph here, but let's just do the 1, 1/3, I guess. It's the best one I can do here. Actually, let me get a better graph. Okay, now that we have a better graph, let's do it. So again, let's do 0, 3, and then let's do -1, 27. Yeah, that looks better. All right, and then we just connect as best we can. And here is our graph and table completed. All right, time to practice. Go ahead and pause the video, try these two on your own. When you're ready, unpause, and we'll check your answers. Okay, now that you've had time to work these problems, let's check your solutions. Okay, for the first problem, they did not give you a table, so you can sort of generate your own. Unfortunately, 0 gives you, 5/6, which is just a weird decimal, so you can't really use 0 here. So instead I did 1 and 2, because that gave me 2.5 and 7.5, and those were easy enough to graph. And for the second problem, here is the table and the graph. You'll notice that this is scaled by tens, so you can use that -1, 50 point on the graph. All right, that is it for today. I hope you all have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.